All right, all right. What is up, Honey Badger Nation? Man, super excited for today's episode. We are at, episode 95 of Expert Mentors Live. Super excited for you guys today. We've got Knolly Williams on, and we're going to talk about succeeding at your highest level. We also want to make this episode interactive and open it up for some Q&A. So, Knolly, man, say hello to the Honey Badger Nation.
What's up, honey badgers? We're in the house, huh? Ooh, I love my honey badgers, baby.
Oh man, I know I've been eyeing you to get you on with us for some time, so I'm glad you're able to make the time and make it happen.
Yeah, it's a real honor, John. I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing a great job too, buddy.
Oh man, I appreciate that. This whole thing kicked off with early on, man. We've definitely almost 2 years, I guess, with this, with the Expert Mentors series. And it really was sparked from, Beer and Kyle and Albie and Kinder. And, they said, hey man, we've got so many rock stars in this group that we need to tap into the horsepower. And so that's how this whole thing even started. And Kinder, it was like, everybody's standing at the line and then everybody steps back and, you're the only one standing there. Like, okay, I guess I'll do it. And that's how Kinder kind of set it up. So it's cool, man. It's been fun. I've learned a ton from, so many amazing honey badgers like yourself. And I have a really, gut feeling that today's going to be no different. So, man, for those that don't know, share a little bit about you. I know you shared some of your bullet points and things with me. Fascinating, by the way. I would just love for you to hear a little bit of your background and share with the folks on with us today.
Yeah, so just a little bit about me. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, lived there for a very short amount of time. We lived in the hood. It was Bedford-Stuyvesant, for those of y'all in the Brooklyn area. Back then, it was the hood, 1970. My dad was Air Force, so we moved around a lot. We ended up in, when I was 10 years old, we ended up moving to South Central LA, Compton, California, where I ended up. And I got into a lot of trouble, during my early, childhood from about 10 to 18. Got to Texas, cleaned up my life, came to Jesus, cleaned up my life, got to Texas, and I've been here for 32 years. I started my very first business I've been an entrepreneur since I was 13, okay? And part of this, John, what we're gonna do today, we're gonna, because it's a crazy time right now. I don't know when you guys are actually watching this video, those of you that are watching the video, but right now we're probably in the middle maybe of the coronavirus, we don't know, in the midst of it anyway. And there's a lot of uncertainty right now. And so we'll talk a little bit about how to succeed at your highest level. But when I was 18, I know adversity, man. I moved here. I had moved here from a very adverse situation. It was very bad. And when I came here with an overnight bag, thinking that I was just going to come visit my uncle for 3 weeks. And I've been here 32 years, man, 32 years. And that's what happens. Sometimes something happens as a disruptor in your life, but sometimes when you look at it, you say, man, this is not really what I planned, but it always works out for the best in the end, if you allow it to. And so I got in the real estate game after I had a 10-year stint in music.
You got to share that story. I saw that. I was like, I got to get him to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. So the quick story on that was I started rapping when I was 13. I was a turntablist,
Gotcha.
And I already told my wife, when I buy my next house with my revenue share, I'm going to have a room with my turntables and everything.
I can't wait.
It's going to be nice. So by the time I was 18, 19, I was already hitting studios, rapping and everything. And then by the time I was 23, I got that urge, man, that I really wanted to start my own company, start my own business. So I quit my job, my full-time job, and I gathered $1,800 bucks from friends and family, $20 there, $40 there, $100 there. I was, dead broke, but I had $1,800 bucks. I gave my boss a 3-month notice because I really liked my boss. I was a graphic designer at the time, and I was doing real good for him. He was an attorney here in town, and so I gave him a 3-month notice so that I could kind of feel my way into being an entrepreneur. And I told my wife, I said, if you work for 1 year, and just support us, okay, you'll never have to work again. And John, she worked for 11 months, man, after I quit my job. And then she was able to come on board full time. And we've been working together ever since, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Since
That's so awesome.
24. But I had that label, you know, we had 14 employees. We had 18 artists at the height of everything. We got picked up by EMI Capital. We were making $150,000 a month in the business. They gave me a $600,000 plus signing, not bonus, but advance when I signed. Debt is what they call it, debt.
Yeah.
And then about 3 years after, so I had a good 10-year run, but 3 years after I signed with them in 1999, digital came out and it decimated.
Changed the game.
It changed the game. So I was out. It was OUT. I was out for the count. And so I said, what am I going to do now? And my friends and family were like, man, you'd be good in real estate. So I got into real estate, got in the game, but I learned the game. See, a lot of people, John, they don't study the game. And that's all this is. And I want you guys to hear this clear. This is just a game. You say, Knolly, but it's serious. It's serious, but it's a game. It's still a game, even though it's serious. Mm-hmm. It's a game. You got to understand the game. And I read Millionaire Real Estate Agent about 3 times, like Curtis Johnson did. He read it a whole bunch more, like 5 times before he started. But I read it before I started. I got my license in June. I started selling real estate in December of 2003. And I took 21 listings in my first 74 days. Okay. And this is what we talk about. We hit the ground running. I don't have the aptitude. By the way, I don't have the aptitude of a successful listing agent. I do not. No matter what test I take, flunk, thumbs down, this boy will never make it. But when you have a handicap, all you do is you use that handicap to your advantage and you succeed. Mm-hmm.
That's it. No, I love that. And, you know, we've all, you know, taken some form, Kobe or the disc or something like that. Mm-hmm. You know, we worked with an entrepreneur, a mentor coach of ours that really took our understanding through that. And he said, you know, what you have to realize, and just to emphasize your point, you can do anything, right? Yeah. You may be a high driving D personality, but you can do detail oriented work, right? Now, where's your energy going to go is another story, right? Can you crush it, but then you go home exhausted at the end of the day versus somebody in their natural energy flow. So anybody can do anything. So you guys got to take that point for what Knolly just shared with you guys, that just because that those tests tell you those things, it's just giving you an awareness of where your energy is going to be high and low, and you can overcome that.
Well, and the thing is, it's not even, I don't even overcome it. I'm weak. I'm weak in a lot of areas, and I just let them be weak, you know, but I'm strong in certain areas. And so I just bring up those strengths. For example, I'm an ISC. I have 0 D. Okay. When I take the ABA, I'm a 1883. That means I have no D whatsoever. So a person I'm an engineer. That's my profile. So a person that's like me, guess what? We're not going to door knock. We're not cold calling people. That's just not, that zaps all the energy out of me. I can't do it. Yep. Now, if somebody else could do it, the high Ds can do it, no problem. But since I'm an ISC, guess what? Basically, I'm a glorified admin person. That's what I am, right? But since I know what I am, okay, I basically take that and say, okay, this is what I am. So when I go on a listing appointment, guess who shows up? A scientist, right? Yeah. And then I got my charts out. I got my whiteboard. I'm doing a seminar. I do a little mini seminar. I educate them, and they're like, oh, I really see. This makes a lot of sense. But I can't do it. A D wouldn't have to do that. A D just say, hey, I can get it done. Sign here. You see what I'm saying? So you have to lead generate to your personality profile. If you don't, you're going to hate this job. You're going to hate doing real estate. To me, it's not a job. This is fun. It's a game. Yeah. It's a game. You know what I'm talking about. I
love that.
I see that smile.
Unpack that a little bit for everybody. And first, real quick, you know, you made a good point listening in. You know, things over the last few days have been changing like almost by the minute. So I just, you know, give a timestamp if you guys are watching the video. It's, you know, March, what are we at? March the
I
8th.
don't know what day it is. I can't even go outside.
March the 18th, 2020. This is
18th. Yeah.
in Central. So just kind of give you guys a frame of reference as we're talking through things, just understanding where things are at. So unpack that a little bit, man. Understanding the game. What do you mean by this is a game? And let's unpack that.
Yeah. Let's unpack it. So back in, if you understand, like those of you guys that like to read, I read a Mark Twain quote. This morning I read 2 books. I got up at 5:15, read 2 books. I read about 1 or 2 books a week. Okay. Now I'm not telling everybody to do this. Okay. But here's what Mark Twain says. Okay. The man who refuses to read has no advantage over the man who cannot read. Okay. Or the one, you know, the person that refuses to read. So this is the game right here. Whatever happened to penny candy. Okay. This is Richard Maybury. He wrote this. This is an American economist, and he basically teaches economics. Okay. But he teaches it like on a 3rd grade level so that guys like me can really understand what this whole thing is all about, like what the economy is. And then he's got another one called Personal, Career, and Financial Security. They call him Uncle Eric, but his real name is Richard Maybury. Now, here's the game. The game is that basically the system. Okay, so you got to understand that we live in a fiat system. So this right here, that, you know, everybody's chasing that. Okay, that's not real. This is all artificial. You know, we understand, those of us that know, the Federal Reserve Bank is not federal. There's no reserves, and it's not a bank. It's privately held. So when you understand the game says that it is a house of cards. I mean, come on, you know, the stock market is a prospecting. You know, I'm in the stock market. I got money there. You know, I'm not saying don't play the game. I'm just saying realize it's a game. And when you understand it's a game, you understand that there are rules to this realm. Okay, let me say it again. There are rules to this realm. And a lot of, John, when you find a lot of agents that are stuck in the how are we going to do that? How am I going to do this? You know, when I came to EXP, I said, I'm going to be one of the top recruiters. You know, right now I'm number 5. And if the 4 that are ahead of me, I'm talking about in honey badgers, I'm number 5. Mm-hmm. Okay. If the 4 that are, and I've been here 14 months, if the 4 that are ahead of me slow down, guess what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. I'm going ahead, baby, because this is like the tortoise and the hare. And that's why I've always taught my agents that I coach, don't play the game of feast or famine. That's not the game. You play the pipeline game. We all have 168 hours a week. That's what we have, 168 hours a week. I don't have any more time than you do. Nope. So the pipeline game, when you fill the pipeline, guess what? Your coffers are full. And when you have a situation like this, and we're going to speak in love to those that are going through it, because I talked to a guy yesterday. Man, I've talked to 8 people that are ready to join right now, John, since this whole thing started. And one guy doesn't even have the 149. He's like, man, I'm broke. And if you met this guy, he's a veteran, man. He's been in the business for 15 years. But the game is, you know, Dave Ramsey tells us you got to have 6 months reserves. Okay. But guess what? Agents just want to go out and do the little bit of deals that they do. They live in feast or famine. They don't follow what's being taught. And then when circumstances like this hit, the house of cards shows up that it's just a house of cards, because that's all it ever was. Okay. That's all this is. So we live. So when I say this, okay, one of the things that you learn is that we live in a fiat system. So this is a Federal Reserve note. Okay, this is just part of understanding the game. When you play the game, like you ever play Monopoly, John?
Yes. Okay,
so when we play Monopoly, let's say we play Monopoly, right? And I'm stacking, man. You know, I'm telling you, I love some Monopoly, baby. So we might have to have the Honey Badger Monopoly game or something like that. Yeah. But I love it. So I'm stacking them up. But I guarantee you, there's going to come a time when I hit a dip, and everybody else is going to be winning, and I'm losing. Right. But I've already stacked up. So I'm already ahead. Now, if you look, I'll give you an example. You look at, they say, man, why is that guy running so far ahead? Well, it's like the tortoise and the hare, okay? It's time on the task over time. That's what wins every time. You can't slow down, but you don't have to do the hustle and grind either. That's a whole nother paradox. But so this is a Federal Reserve note. That means it's not backed by anything. Okay. The only thing that gives this value is the mental ascension that we have in our minds that this is worth something, but it ain't worth nothing. It's paper. Okay. You know, I ask people all the time, what's worth more, a penny or a $100 bill? Okay. In reality, the penny is worth more because it's made of copper. This is paper. Okay. So when you live in a fiat system, which is what we live in, a fiat system means that the money supply is not backed by anything. Okay. So what happens is when you understand the rules, when you understand the game, you start thinking like, oh, wait a minute, nobody really has my back. So if I hit a dip in Monopoly, guess what? Nobody's going to come bail me out, baby. They're not going to come, hey, Knolly, here's a few houses, here's some hotels, here's some of my cash. No, we're all trying to win. And so you have to take care of yourself. This is what guys like Glenn Sanford and even, you know, my former mentor, Gary Keller, he would try to instill in us things like you have to prepare, because an economic dip like this, even though this was like, you know, from nowhere, right? But it happens every what? Every 7 years. We already know that. And when agents come out of it, because when did we come out of the last one? About 7 years ago. And when agents come out of it, all of a sudden they get dumb again. I call them like walking drunk, you know, like amnesia. It's like you had 7 years. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, John?
Yeah.
I don't want to get on a rant. I'm just saying, when you understand the game, you understand that you're playing a game. So if you're going to play the game, you need to play to win. Why play to lose?
That's right. Yep. I'm with you, man. I've noticed, you know, Holly and I, she won't, used to like play games with me, but, you know, I take it very seriously. So yeah. So let's give some now, you know, given the amount of uncertainty and a lot of, like you said, walking, you know, blacked out, right? They're still moving, but they don't know what's going on.
No.
Some actionable items to where they can, activities that they can do to play the game to win.
Yeah. So what I've been doing during this time, I think the number one thing that we have to, so I teach three things. Okay. And I'll get into the number one, but I teach from a lead generation standpoint. Your sphere of influence comes first, then your farm, and then your niche. Okay. Those are the three things. So what I would do during times like this is the farm, we're going to cut that out, right? I mean, that's the first one to go. So we're going to go straight to SOI and niche. And we all should be on the phone with our SOI, just finding out how they're doing, you know, no agenda, no sales, no who's got a property list, none of that. I mean, that can come up if it comes up, but just go, this is a great opportunity to contact people that you probably haven't been contacting, because most agents do a piss poor job of staying in contact with people. Okay?
Would you, Knolly, would you have everybody reach out via phone, or maybe shoot a personalized video and send to them? Like what would be the sequence of trying to make that deposit?
I mean, if you can pick up the phone and call them, it's great. But if I think it's whatever you're comfortable with. You know, if you're comfortable texting, that's fine. If you're comfortable picking up the phone and calling them, that's fine. Or if you're comfortable just making a quick video, you know, 20, 30-second video, that's fine also, you know. But, you know, like I called one of my clients that I have her house for sale right now. I mean, obviously we're going to call them, but she's what we call shut-in, and she's very sick. She's ill. And so I just called to see if she needed anything and you know, how she's doing and all that. And that's just something that we can all just kind of check in with our people. And it's a good excuse to do that right now.
Just be a human being, right?
Yeah, just being a human being.
Come from a place of love. You know, how are they doing? How's their family doing? And just like you said, is there anything that I can do for you personally?
Yeah. Yeah. And let me throw out some hope here, because I know a lot of people are, now I don't watch the news. Okay. So I am,
I'm with you there.
I'm at a little bit of what some people might call disadvantage of understanding. Cause I was like, yesterday I got up, I'm like, I'm going to the gym. My wife's like, you can't go to the gym. I'm like, why I can't go to the gym? What?
Gym's closed.
Yeah. So this guy, check this out. This guy, a friend of ours, he was in a 12-day, a 13-day silent retreat. No cell phone, no nothing. So he gets out, he's like the apocalypse or something. Like he's been shut away for 13 days. And I was like, buddy, I feel your pain because I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news in 14 years. So since I don't, because I guard the input, see, that's all part of the game too. The game.
Amen. I love that.
Yeah. So here's the game. The game is 100% up to set up to control you. And I tell people all the time, they don't like to hear it, but I tell them, this is a system of organized slavery. When you look at how the workplace, that's why I'm an entrepreneur. When you look at how the workplace came in, this guy tells you right here, when you get this book right here, you learn some of the game right there. There's a lot of places that you can learn the game, but you understand that back in the day, there was no such thing as an employee. It didn't exist. Okay. You either owned a farm or you worked for the government. That was the only option. You worked for the king or the duke or some royalty. You worked for a royal family. Okay. Or you owned your own farm. You owned your own blacksmith, or you were a general store, whatever it was. Okay. Yep. Now the emergence of the job came, earlier in the century. Okay. And so it's not even 100 years old. And by the way, that whole system of a job, punching into a job and being there for a career, getting a gold watch, that was outdated in the 80s. Okay. But people are still sending their kids to college as if that was still the dream. And it wasn't. The whole purpose of even the university. Okay. I'm not going to bash, because I love education, man. I learn all the time. But the university, that means one mind. University, it means one mind. Okay. So it's basically a system where now there's some things that people absolutely need to go to school for. You're going to be a doctor, you're going to become a dentist, you're going to become a surgeon, or you're going to be an engineer, whatever.
100%.
But here's the thing: what people don't, they're blindly going after stuff without doing any due diligence. The whole reason that the elite set up the university system was because they needed workers. Okay. And that you couldn't exploit people anymore. So now we need workers. So we're going to teach this curriculum because these are the kind of jobs that we need. Now, there's nothing wrong with being part of that, but here's what I say, John. There's nothing wrong with me pulling out my Monopoly board, setting it up and playing the game and getting involved in the game. Like you say, you get upset with it, but you get into it. There's nothing wrong with that. But just understand, at the end of the day, you're playing a game, and it's all set up this way. So if you're going from deal to deal, you automatically had disqualified yourself. Okay. Why do I get into honey? And I'm not bragging on myself, man. Anybody, look, I got a handicap. I'm an ISC. What ISC have you ever seen that took 1,000 listings? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Very few, if any.
Unless when you know your handicap, like there's a guy, Nick Savagicic, I don't know his last name, but Nick, he doesn't have any arms and any legs, and it's actually a plus for him. It gets him in places that I could never go. You see what I'm saying? So when you know your handicap, you say, oh, okay, I came in the board with this hand. That's the hand I got. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that hand. Yep. See? But it really is, guys, at the end of the day, when you see here's, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to bounce it back to you, John. But when you look at it like this life is theater. Okay, this is a theatrical production. We're here for we didn't come from here. Okay, Jesus said we're not from this world. What the word means when he says be in the world but not of the world, the word of means from. He says you're in the world but you're not from the world. Okay, so we came in here, we came into this realm, we landed, we got into a physical body, right? And like Wayne Dyer says, my body is no more than a garage where I temporarily park my soul. That's all it is. So I came down here, I got into a physical body. It's good for 70, 80, 90 years, whatever it's going to be. And then I go back where I came. Okay. So now when you came here, you came down to a theatrical production. The play was already going on when you came in. Okay. So when you came in, you sat, now you say, well, somebody picked your part for you? Somebody picked your role? No, nobody did that. You picked the role that you want to play. Oh, well, my parents did that. No. We create our own reality, you see? And so everything that I have in my life is I'm not a victim. You know, I'm not a victim, you know, so, and neither are you. You're not a victim either. So I didn't mean to get on that rant there,
100%.
but
No, I appreciate it.
yeah,
Definitely. Love that.
we have to elevate the way we think in order to get the things that we say we want.
So true. So true. I love that. I'm going to reel us back over to some of the tactical
Some tips, some tactics. Let's keep it like that. Yeah.
And so we have that. We're focusing in on the sphere. We scratched, kind of not worried about the farm, but we're going to dive into the niche. So unpack that for everybody listening in.
So I did a webinar last week. It was very timely. I didn't know how timely it was going to be, but I really liked it. It was Land Voice put it together. And for those of you that want to go find it, it's on YouTube. It's called Niches Equals Riches. Niches Equals Riches. Just last week. And the hot niches right now, okay, I'm going to tell you what they are, but we did a whole hour webinar, and Land Voice has a fantastic product. And I don't let anybody sell anything on my webinars except if it's my product,
right?
You know, but I love what they're doing so much that I brought them on. And so they have old expireds is one thing that they have. That's something that we all should be jumping into. And the old expired product is something where they basically do it by zip codes, and they scrub them for anybody that foreclosed. Like, let's say they had their house on the market in 2016, 2017, 2018, mainly those years. Some go back as far as 2015, and they've never relisted. Like, they had it on the market during that time of the market. And right now their house is worth a lot more, but they just never relisted for whatever reason. Maybe they had a bad experience or just didn't get around to it.
Right.
So the old expired is a hot game right now. The other hot game besides that for niches is your man. And I would have never guessed this, John, in a million years. I would have never guessed it. But guess what is up 200, 300, and in some markets 400%?
What is that?
NODs, man.
Oh way. Yep.
What? Yeah. Yep. So what they're doing now, but guess what? This is a whole new game. So John, how long you've been in it for a while, right?
Yeah, licensed 04.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So back in the day when you got a pre-NOD, you already knew pre-notice of default is what we're saying. Sorry, I'm throwing these terms.
Everybody listening in.
So NOD is a notice of default. Now, when a notice of default usually is issued when they miss their first, second, or third payment, just depending. So in this case, they basically, sorry, my phone's blowing up on me. So in this case, the NODs, he said I think in Tampa, it's up like 400%. Okay. So people are going into foreclosure, but they have equity. Okay. They have equity. So now it's an easier conversation. In fact, one gal, she got 68 listings. Let me say it again. She got 68 listings last year with nothing but the pre-NOD strategy. Okay. It's a hot market, man. And so these are the two niches that personally, if I was permitted to go back into the full-time real estate space, which I'm not permitted to do, then that's where I would be. I mean, right now, I retired. I call myself retired when I was 45, paid off my house. And I was, but here's the thing, John, I was real dumb for a long time, dude. I said, I can talk that way about myself. When I was 33 years old, I had to file bankruptcy. Why? Because when EMI gave me $600,000, I already knew I should have paid off my house. I had $320,000 to pay off my house. Okay. But what did I do? I said, no, I'm going to roll this money back in. I played the game. Okay. So when you play the game, it's cool. There's no judgment. We're not judging. But when you lose your, don't call foul on nobody but yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because so anyway, I had to file bankruptcy, almost lost my house. Now, fast forward, did I learn anything? Not really. So fast forward, man, I'm hustling. I'm doing it. I was number 7 in the city of Austin, number 7. Okay. And at that time, I was one of the top 10 Remax agents in the state of Texas. But guess what? I was still broke. Why? Because my mindset, man, I've always, so this changed around 2009 for me. Okay. I went into therapy, literally. I mean, seriously, I did. And so my mindset shifted, but I allowed myself to get into credit card debt. I wasn't paying my taxes. I wasn't paying my payroll taxes. And I had another house at this time that some of the honey badgers had been to that house back when we were KW. Nice house, man. But you know, when I bought that house, John, and this is my story. When I bought that house, I had always been in low self-esteem. Okay. So most of my success of my career had been because I was really trying to prove, because I was raised being told, man, you'll never amount to anything. You're worthless. You were a mistake. Things like that, you know, things that a child shouldn't hear, but that's what I was raised being told. And so I was always trying to say, I can be something. I am, you know, that little kid was always trying to prove. And so here I am, man, 40 years old, dude, and 39, and I'm back in the same boat again. I'm $100,000 upside on my mortgage. Okay. And so this house that I live in right now, I mean, I actually literally one day I walked out there, John, and I looked around. I said, why am I even here? You know, you got Dr. So-and-so next door. The CFO for the city of Austin lives right here next door to me. I got another attorney across. I mean, I'm in a high nothing wrong with it. I was making good money, but I had to ask myself, why am I here? And I had to realize I was only doing those things because I was trying to chase the Joneses, and I was trying to have everybody else see how successful I was. Okay.
Man, that's powerful.
You know what I mean?
Because very few people if they ever come to that realization or even own it, right? To have that conversation with themselves. So that's, man, yeah, definitely a key nugget there for everybody listening in.
Yeah. That's called understanding the game. So that house, man, it went into foreclosure because it was, you know, you could call it strategic. This house that I'm in right now, my client called me up and they said, and I'm in a very modest house. I did a YouTube video about it. I paid it off in 5 years because I got smart, man. I got smart. You know, that downturn, it wiped me out twice. Okay. I got wiped out twice. The first time I almost lost my house, but I did end up filing bankruptcy. Then when I was supposed to be all clean, my credit was finally good again, right? I ended up going into foreclosure. And this is when everybody looked at me like, man, I'm a top agent.
Yep.
And I'm silently going into foreclosure. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just had to say, man, you know what is this game really? And I educated myself, John, on what the game is. And when I got that education, I said, oh, I see how the game is. So, and once you understand the game, this is what you need to make a promise to yourself. We're going to give you some more tactics, but this is what you want to make a promise to yourself is you will never, ever, if you're in a place right now where you can't make your bills, where you're down, you're broke, okay, or you're down, you're scratching the bottom of the barrel, just tell yourself you will never be in this situation again, because this is up to you. Nobody's going to bail you out. Now you might get a little bailout, you know, little fun money, right? A get out of jail free card or something like that. But the reality is this it's up to you to take control of the success of your life. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the two niches. I would tell people to really take an assessment of your life and find out what is it that makes your heart tick? What is it that makes your heart beat? I guarantee you, John, I'm going to be back into a nice house like that again. But this time around, it's not going to be like, oh, look at me. Oh, look at me. It's just like, man, I need me a nice house. You know, I want a recruiting room. You know, what's that room over there? Oh, that's just where I do my attraction. You know what I'm saying? but there ain't no ego attached to that. You see what I'm saying? So you can have the thing, but the motivation behind it is very important. You know?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Where, so does LandVoice provide both of those, that data for both of those niches?
Yeah. So what I tell people is you can actually get the data yourself, but what LandVoice does, they have an amazing tool that scrubs that data so that you're not caught. They basically remove all the junk. So when you get a list, it's going to be your zip code, exclusive to your zip code. And then you put in, you know, what your zip code is, and then, they'll tell you if it's available, you know, for what year. Like it might not be available for 2016, but 2017. And they'll have they'll tell you there's 280 people that on the list, So it's just all a lot of people don't know it, but the guys that started RedX are the same guys that went and launched LandVoice, because RedX would never update their software. And so the owner just finally, or one of the founders, he said, man, he just did his own. And if you remember Mike Warnock's For Sale by Owner, you remember that back in yeah. So that's also, LandVoice kind of came out of that as well.
Yeah. We had a good relationship with with LandVoice when we had the brokerage in Dallas, and we did a lot of our data came from them, and then also working back over with Mark and Curtis at RedX as well. So
somebody's asking where you get the list of pre-foreclosures. So you can, there's ways that you can get this on your own, but I tell people, why bother? RedX has a service where they deliver them to you every single morning. Okay. Not RedX, but LandVoice. So what I would say, check out, we did that webinar last week. Okay. And if it's something you're interested in and you're watching this, go check it out. They put up a site, landvoice.com/niche, NICH, where you can actually, I didn't want to harp too much on them, but I really feel like that if people can leapfrog, the farm thing is going to be out for a little while. And now,
why is that? Why? Explain to everybody so they understand why that is.
So the three things. So here's. Let me share with you guys. So I wrote a book. This book right here called Success with Listings. Okay. This book is 430 pages. Okay. It's the game. Okay. When I talk about game, I'm serious. This is the playbook right here. This is the manual. And what I teach in here is that people should go after 3 buckets of leads. Like when I looked at the time when I looked at it, I just did like a little research and said, where are all my leads coming from? And I found out that they were all coming from 3 buckets. I had already taken like about 600 or 700 listings at the time when I did this, and just looked at the last 100 or so. And I said, they're all coming either from my sphere of influence, which, by the way, NARS, National Association of Realtors, says that 70% of sellers say that they listed their house with somebody that they either knew before, or that they knew of, Facebook friend, church friend, something like that. So, so that's 70%. And then the other 30% is going to be your farm, your geographical farm that you work, and your niche. Okay. The problem with the farm is that the farm is a planting of a tree strategy. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when's the best time to plant a tree? Right. 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. When's the second best time? Today. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So farming is a planting of the tree strategy. So, and I've been harping on this, John, for so long, and that's why. Anyway, I won't go down that road because I want to come through with compassion and sympathy. So it takes a while to get money in that, and I have agents all the time, man. They're like, but it takes too long. But look, I'm drinking a glass of orange juice right now. Okay, when was this orange picked? Can you tell me that when this orange was picked? I don't know.
No.
Do you know that, and you may not know this, John, but the orange juice from concentrate, did you know that it probably takes about a year before it hits your glass?
That's a long time.
A year, okay? But here's the thing. This is fresh squeeze. I just squeezed, my wife just squeezed this morning. But I don't care how long it takes. As long as I got fresh orange juice every day, it doesn't matter, right? People ask me, well, that takes a long time. I said, well, did you drink a cup of coffee? Yeah, I had coffee this morning. Well, how long did it take from the time the coffee bean was picked till the time it hits your cup? Yeah. I don't know. Well, who cares? As long as you have fresh coffee every day, you don't ever care about that.
Don't care.
Right? And that's what a pipeline does. When you have a pipeline, you have a distribution of business so that you're not feast or famine. You're not going from deal to deal. Because if the nation shuts down, now if I would have told people this a month ago, they would have laughed me crazy, John. Mm-hmm. If the nation shuts down for any reason, the nation shut down, man, shut up, fool. The nation ain't never shut down. It's never happened in my lifetime. Okay. I've been around 50 years old, so I got to tell you, there's certain things that you want to do and implement for yourself and your family, because if you don't, what I tell people, John, if you don't do these things and you don't start thinking right, you're just robbing yourself and you're robbing your family. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, enough of that. So that's why I would just hop skip the farm and I would go straight to a niche. Now, there are some other niches that probably I'm thinking will emerge. But here's, the good news about this is that we're all doing bad at the same time. I mean, that's good news actually, because a lot of people don't understand that. It's like that. It's just like when Jesus was in the boat and he was asleep, man. He was having a good nap. And these fishermen, trained fishermen, were so afraid. They went and woke him up. They said, Master, we're about to drown. We're about to drown. And you know what he did? First, he rebuked the wind. He just rebuked it, scripture says. And then he turned on them and rebuked them. He says, the actual verbiage is very harsh, man. He was I don't want to say Jesus was pissed, but that's what, he was perturbed.
Right.
He was torqued. Like, man, why are y'all waking me up? But they were, for a fisherman to wake him up, there must have been something really wrong, right?
Yeah.
And he asked me, he says, where is your faith? See, here's the thing, John. When we go through times like this, my wife and I used to always say, people are like tea bags. You never know what kind you are until you're in hot water, okay? So when you pop that tea bag in the water, you're like, oh, I know. Ooh, that's peppermint. Ooh, I like that one. So now that we're in hot water, this is the time for us to show what we're made of.
That's right. I love that.
This is the time to shine, to live our faith. But those that haven't prepared, I get that, but never be caught with your pants down again, okay? So that's what I would say. I would use this time to connect with, by the way, with this strategy, I'm talking about that right now. I picked up 2 listings this week, just checking on people,
Yeah.
There's some people that are just ready to sell, man,
Yep. Yeah, no, I love that. Give, if you don't mind, give a little bit, especially on
attraction. Write that down. We'll come back to it.
Notice of defaults, right?
There's
probably a few folks listening in that have rode that roller coaster in the past. And there's some that this is going to be brand new niche for them.
Yeah.
What are some of the best ways to approach that particular niche? To be able to get the best response.
Yeah. So when you approach an NOD, you never ask them, you never ask them direct questions about their situation, because they're going to be like me. When I was going through foreclosure, man, I was up on stages speaking and talking about my success. Yep. And I was making money. But see, what people don't realize is that, we're going to get to your question, but I wish I had something to write on here. But so just think about it. We call it cash flow. Okay, cash flow, right? And we also call it currency. It's like a current. Okay, so money is created to flow. Money has to flow. $7 trillion flows through the marketplace every single day. Not right now, but it's supposed to be $7 trillion. So you know how you and I make money, John? I pay you for something, then you pay somebody else, then they pay that person, then that person gets paid, then eventually I get paid, and then I pay over here. It's called, but here's the thing. The money supply is typically the same. The same money is just circulating.
It's just circulating.
So make no mistake about it, guys. The economy is the same. We still got the money. The money's out there somewhere. It's just not flowing to you. It's stuck. It's stagnant. It's dammed up, because it's not like they're printing fresh money every day. That's called inflation. Okay. It's not like fresh money. Oh, where'd this money come from? Oh, it's just fresh money. No, it's just moving around. Okay. But when everybody stops, guess what? The money stops moving. Now back to the NODs. When you contact them, okay, like I said, I was making money, but I was dumb. I was spending more than I made. Okay. When I was making $150,000 a month, I was spending 160. Okay. That's dumb with a capital D. And I don't care how much you make, you can still be dumb. All right. Yeah. Now, with NODs, you never go to an NOD and say, hey, it says here that you missed 3 payments or 2 payments, whatever it is, because they don't think anybody knows that information.
Yeah. Like
I've talked to husbands that haven't even told their wife. So you always have a conversation as if you just contacted them randomly, and the script that it's absolutely genius. But the script that Land Voice came up with is they basically created a system where they help you to get off the market listings by working with for sale by owners. Okay, so when I'm gonna rattle it off real quick, but I think people should go and watch the video because it really explains it better. But when you work with these for sale by owners, you're not working with them to list their home, but you're creating, they have this system for FSBOs where you basically will help them with their marketing, with their, you give them like a text number and all this kind of like a package that you provide to them, because 9% of homes actually are successful selling for sale by owner, okay, or 9 to 13%, something like that. So they're going to list with somebody eventually, and even if they don't list with you, what they make a promise to is that anybody that texts that number, you basically say, hey, look, I'm going to do all these services. They're like, why would you do that for free? Well, the reason I'm going to do it is because I already know that buyers are in your neighborhood looking for homes, and you're going to be contacted by every active buyer that's in this neighborhood looking to buy a home because you're not on the MLS. Anytime an active buyer contacts you, I want to know about it if they're not interested in your home. You show them your house, they don't like it, then you let me know about it. Yeah. So in exchange for this, I'm going to offer you this suite of services, which LandVoice provides to you, basically provides to them. You just give them the address. And so then once you have that system going, then you can basically go to an NOD and say, hey, I've got this list of buyers that nobody else knows about. They're kind of off the market type buyers. And I might have one potentially interested in your home. Have you ever thought about selling it? So it's like you're just going through and making random calls. You know what I mean? And that's the way you want to approach them, because now one gal, the one that did 68 deals, all she did was send them text, because there was so many on the list. She just sent them a text blast, and they give you the script of what she sends out to them, and she got so many responses that she ended up selling 68 homes, from that. But you always have to be very indirect. Hey, do you know anybody that's thinking about selling their home? Well, no, I don't. Well, have you ever thought about selling yours? Yeah. Because if you ask them anything directly, they'll get defensive.
Right. And they'll shut down.
They'll shut down.
Yeah. Game over. That's fantastic. So do you have like an affiliate link or something with LandVoice? I would love, you sharing everybody they can guide them through.
Yeah. So if you go to landvoice.com/niche, NICHE, that's actually my affiliate page, if you will.
Okay, perfect.
And so check it out, but check out the webinar first, because it's a 60-minute webinar that we did. And that way you could see if that product is right for you, if you think but people are going nuts over it. It's really, if I was in the game, back in the game, that's where I would be focused.
I love that.
When I got in the game originally, I cut my teeth on expired. That's all I did. Okay. And when the expired stopped being able to clear their money, then that's what forced me into short sale.
So Knolly, so share that with everybody. Yeah. At the beginning of the call, for those of you, just if you're watching us live or just tuning in, you broke down knowing where your strengths and your weaknesses. Like, man, I ain't gonna door knock, and right. I'm not gonna do those things. So how would you cut your teeth on expireds when you know that that's definitely not a strength of yours?
So I did 0% phone calls. I've never called an expired in my life. Okay. So I had a 100% system, and my wife still remembers. We were talking about the other day, boy. So every single day when the expireds would come out, and back then I was using RedX, they would print them out. So there'd be 50 new ones, or 32 or 26, whatever the number was every day. And I would print a letter, and I had my letter was tight, dude. And I still have a copy of the letter I used to use. So, and the letter I had my signature on there that it looked like it was in ink. Okay. And I had it even to where it would come up above some of the typed characters and everything. So, so I had a whole package. I had 2 flyers, a letter, my business card. I would send them a letter. Then a week later, they got a jumbo postcard. Okay. At week 3, they got another letter. So I had a whole system, man. But, a D won't even have to do that. They just call them.
They just call.
I know.
They just call.
But I got so many listings, John, 6 months, 8 months, 9, 10 months later, because I would hit them up. I would still hit them 6 months later. I just keep hitting them. If I never saw them go back on the market, they were constantly on my rotation.
Stay part of the system.
And people would be like, man, I've had your card in my drawer for 7 months, Yeah. And so that's how I did it.
Stuff. I can wallpaper my bathroom with all the stuff you've sent me.
Yeah. Now with texting, man, you got no problem for a person like me.
What 100%. Hey, I do want to shift over to attraction, but real quick before, before we
By
get
the
to
way,
that,
I've never made an attraction call either. I don't do that.
I want you to unpack that for everybody listening in.
Yeah.
And I also want to be sensitive to the time for everybody, but I just want to make sure, what's the best way for people to get a copy of your book, Success with Listing?
Success with Listings, you can get it absolutely free. For my honey badgers, baby. Yeah. No, but I made it absolutely free on my website, knolly.com, KNOLLY.com. When I found out they pay me $1 per book, John, I said, man, keep your $1.
Yeah.
So I just made it free.
I love it.
People can download it right there at knolly.com. If you want, it's on Amazon. If you want the actual printed thing, it's got over 95 different scripts. And the reason I wrote this, John, because people kept wanting to pick my brain, how I took over 1,000 listings. So I said, I'm just going to pick my own brain. Here it is.
I'll just give it to you.
Yeah,
I'll just give it to you. That's fantastic. All right. So let's shift to the rest of the call. This has been fantastic, by the way. I appreciate you jumping in and just bringing the value. Let's go attraction. Let's spend the rest of the time with the call, and let's just really kind of unpack, how you've been able to climb the chart so fast with the Honey Badger organization, top 5, and really kind of what's working amazing for you.
Yeah. So another thing that people have to understand, John, and I'm still coming to understand this concept. There's books like The Power of Your Subconscious Mind that will help you guys. And we're going to go through these quick because you guys can go back to the video and watch that. That's Dr. Joseph Murphy. Powerful, powerful book. And then there's the book Letting Go. That's a really powerful book that will really help you. It's called The Pathway of Surrender. These are the kind of books I read. And then there's another one, my mentor, Russell Brunson. I'm a big ClickFunnels guy. He came out with this. He said, and this is timely. If you suddenly lose everything, 30days.com, how would you get it all back? Now, this is not appropriate for most of our listeners. I'm just saying that people are already thinking about ahead, like, yeah, you could lose everything. I've done it. I've done it more than once in my life. I've lost it all, everything. But I guarantee, let me tell you this real clear, John. I will never, ever, ever be broke again. Never, never. It just will never happen. Why? Because I have a new mind. I've been so renewed in my mind that it's impossible. See, and I tell people all the time, when you have the recipe for gold, if you know how to make gold in your back office, there's no reason for you to carry big bags of gold around with you because you got the recipe. You need some more gold. You just go make up another batch.
Go make it.
I have 5 revenue streams. That's another thing I want to preach to people. We can't teach this on this call, but you've got to have multiple streams of revenue. Okay. Now back to attraction. So I'm a giver. And what I started this whole rant about was that in this realm, things are non-linear. Okay. One of the biggest things that I teach, John, is called quantum physics. Okay. I love quantum physics, and quantum physics is the kind of stuff that like Jim Rohn taught. Albert Einstein in 1921, he won a Nobel Peace Prize for his work in quantum physics. He didn't discover it, but he kind of popularized it again as well. Nikola Tesla was very big into quantum physics, as was, I always forget this guy's name, the one that invented electricity, Edison. Yeah, Edison. And so the biggest questions, I'm going to throw this out. We're going to talk about attraction, but the biggest questions, if you guys can understand this, the biggest questions that you have, the bigger the question, the less you need to know how. Okay. Let me say it again. When you find somebody that's asking how questions, they got a small problem. How do I set up a Facebook page? Okay, well, there's a website for that. But then how do I attract? Our group is going to be 40,000 agents. How are you going to get 40,000 agents? That, what you have to understand, guys, is that, see, I've been here 14 months. I've personally attracted 66 personally. Those are my personals on my first line. Now, what you have to understand, and without one single phone call, what you have to understand is that the way the universe works, okay, remember I said there's rules to this realm?
Yep.
When you place your order, the universe has to deliver. The only thing that can cancel your order is when you have doubt or fear. Because if you have fear or doubt, you just erased your order. You just wrote your order down. It's like a waiter comes up to you and says, hey, what do you have? Now, most people don't know what they want. And because they don't know what they want, they never get anything. Okay. So anyway, with the whole attraction piece, what I would do right now, I sent out a text this past Friday, and it was very simple text. And I sent it out to all the people it's all about follow-up. See, the fortune is in the follow-up.
Yep.
Let me say it again. The fortune is in the follow-up. Don't think you're going to have one conversation with a person and they're going to switch over. Okay. I had 30 people hit me up about EXP. Okay. Before I even knew it was on the map. It takes those of us that have been old time marketers, it takes 6 to 10 touches before a person even begins to realize that you exist. 6 to 10. By the time I touch them the 7th time, they're like, who is this dude? Oh yeah. I think I heard of him before, but I'm already touching them. See? So I sent a touch out last Friday, and it was like a two or three sentences. And I just sent them stuff like, hey, anytime somebody new joins, I send them about three a month. And I use an app called Reach.
Yep.
REACH. You know about it, Reach.
Yep.
So I use the Reach app. It's a mass texting app. And what really works, John, is I send them like a picture of me. So I'll just actually snap a picture of me, like right then, like that. And then I'll say, hey, hope you're doing good. Are you thinking of picking up our conversation again about EXP? Let me know if you have a time to chat this week. That's it, 3 sentences. And I sent it out. I sent it to like over 100 people, but I made 8 appointments. Okay. And did I put up 9? Okay. 8. Yeah. 8. I put up 9, then we're going to have 9. So you just place your order, place your order.
That's your order. You just placed your order.
Place my order. So the thing is, you want to be consistent with the attraction. The way that you can get into the hearts of people, and I started this by saying it's non-linear. You have to be a giver, okay? You have to share. Like I'm sharing stuff with you because I want you guys to succeed, okay? No matter if you're in my downline or not, it doesn't matter. Because the way the universe works and the way that the rules of this realm are non-linear. What that means is, what Jesus says, if you give, you will receive. It doesn't mean that you're going to receive from the same person. It's like Christmas. I give you a gift card, you give me some pajamas. I take that and I give it to somebody else. I get a necktie. It's all reciprocal. Mm-hmm. Honestly, John, if we just all saved our money and didn't buy gifts, we'd end up about the same, right? About even Steven. But that's not the way this realm is set up. This is a circulatory realm. And so you have to understand when you give, because people are like, man, why would you do that? Because they think that it's always A plus B equals C. But we're in a non-linear realm. You have to understand that when you get into quantum physics, is that when I do a honey badger call, okay, like this, all of a sudden, I'm going to get a call from the universe that says, hey, I want you to come sell my house. Just got one yesterday. Come list me, okay? Just came out of nowhere, just came out of thin air. And when you start to walk in the quantum field, I'm going to end with this. When you start to walk in the quantum field, every single day is filled with miracles. Every day. And this is for everybody. This is our birthright. This is our destiny.
Yeah.
And that's why I say you got to understand the game you're playing and get in the real game.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I love this conversation. And I know it's definitely one that everybody listening in needs to circle back around and listen to several times, and then also pick up those amazing recommendations that you shared. I know I'll be on Amazon here in a few minutes. So definitely.
I didn't keep it as practical today. I usually keep it like step 1, 2, 3, but I just felt like I really needed to share that word with everybody and really I'm speaking into your subconscious is what I'm doing when I talk like this, because I don't want anybody, John, to ever be in this situation again. And I think that we can rise from the ashes of this and do better next time. Yeah. You know, we all need to have 6 months reserves. Okay. We all need to be in a place where if something like this happens, we just go on vacation and just enjoy life. You know? Yeah. And so anyway, I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate it. Tons and tons of value. I appreciate you sharing and being open and real, and definitely bringing the love today. And appreciate you guys listening in. Make sure you guys share some big takeaways, give Knolly some love, get that copy of his book, and then also head over to landvoice.com/niche check out that webinar, and then look at making sure you've got those niches in your business.
I'll post the webinar on the link to this call,
Okay.
because the webinar is not there. That's where you can actually fill in your zip codes. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys. I love you all. I want you all to succeed. I want everybody to be a winner, because that's our destiny. That's what we deserve.
That's it. Gonna place the order and gonna win. See you guys. Thanks.